swelling, headache or a rash, asthma, colitis, fatigue, or gas. What will today's symptom be? My loopy life with lupus. Hi everyone, welcome to day 20 of Lupus Awareness Month. We're getting close to the end of the month. I cannot believe it. Time is going by too quickly. Anyways, today I'm going to be reading another blog post from the High Heels and Training Wheels blog. And this blog that she wrote is called Lupus and Love, an open letter to my husband. And I really liked it because it kind of really hit home with me and my husband. Like I've mentioned before, I started to experience my symptoms I actually think I started to experience them on my wedding day, but they weren't severe enough to, really get in the way of my day. Because I remember my feet were hurting and my legs were aching. And I just thought it was from dancing, and being on my feet a lot that day. And then, we went to Paris the next day and we were there for a week and we did lots of walking. And I just thought it was just tired legs, from being on my feet so much. But then once we got back, it just progressively started to get worse. My joints, in my fingers, in my wrists, in my knees. It just kept going from there. So I, have pretty much been sick from the moment we got married, and it's just something that I still find hard to deal with. But this letter that she wrote to her husband, I think a lot of people hopefully can relate to it. I'm hoping that most people out there with lupus, if you are married, that you have a wonderful husband who's supportive and understanding. I know it's not always the case, and I have heard of scenarios where the husband leaves because they can't deal with it. And while that's not okay, I can understand it because it is a difficult thing to deal with. And it really, I don't know, my husband's amazing to have stuck around through it all. But anyways, I just wanted to read this letter that she wrote to her husband, and here it is. To my loving husband, first of all, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for all of the support you have given me over the last few years. It was nearly 11 years ago I received the call while visiting you for a weekend in our first tiny studio apartment. I remember sitting on the couch with our cardboard coffee table in front of me as I listened to the doctor say, "Your blood work came back positive for the lupus antibodies. I'm sure it's not that. 10% of the normal healthy population get a positive ANA test but do not have lupus. I still think you may be depressed." You were staring at me as you tried to hear what he was saying. You were concerned because I had been sick for a while. My fatigue had become debilitating, the pain sudden. Without acknowledging his reference to depression, I wasn't depressed. I was engaged to you, the love of my life. I was graduating college with a degree I loved. I was moving to be with you, finally and forever. My life was as good as it had ever been up to that moment. I simply asked, if this is lupus, what would my next step be? To see a rheumatologist. Please write me a referral to a rheumatologist you would recommend. And I hung up the phone. I don't remember if I cried. I didn't even know what exactly lupus was at the time. I had remembered it being mentioned when I was sick as a teenager, but I don't remember much else. This was only the start to our life with lupus and love coexisting. Weeks later, after I officially received the diagnosis, I called you crying hysterically at 4 a.m. California time, which was 6 a.m. your time. My entire body had broken out in painful, bruising hives. I had just returned home from a trip to the mountains where I spent 4 days tubbing on the lake in the sun. Lupus patients can't be in the sun like that, except I didn't know. You calmed me down as you got ready for work. You told me to try to go to sleep and to call the rheumatologist's office when they opened. Your voice alone made everything better, and that day I started Plaquenil and have been on it ever since, mostly. I told you that summer, as I fell asleep in Grant Park, you could back out of marrying me because I was sick. You looked at me as if though I was speaking another language. Of course we'd get through this together. At our wedding, I cried, as I said, in sickness and in health, when we exchanged our vows. You squeezed my hands a little tighter 3 times. It was our silent code for I love you. You let me sleep a little more while on vacations to recharge my battery. You asked me to quit my job and stay home after we kept miscarrying and I kept getting sicker. Work was killing me, and no one could see it except you. You would realize I was flaring before I did. You could see it in my movements, my eyes, and my body. You never held it against me as we lost pregnancy after pregnancy. Finally, we had our oldest son. I became consumed in being a great mother, and you became consumed in being a great father and provider. I hid my lupus more. I complained less. I didn't want you to worry about me on top of everything else. It wasn't always bonbons and butterflies when dealing with my lupus. Yes, it put a strain on us, that I couldn't keep up with the house and kids, that I was too tired at the end of the day to even hold a conversation, that I was useless in so many ways. Yes, we got frustrated, you at me for not keeping up, me at you for not understanding. We both have fought so hard with denial about what lupus really means to our life, neither of us wanting to accept its reality. Yes, we fought, but what makes you so special is that each time, when we finally got to the root of the issues, and I tearfully confessed that I wasn't feeling well, that I had been hiding it because I'm tired of being weak, you would hold me, tell me I'd be okay, ease up on me a little. We'd both apologize for ignoring that I was sick. I promised to go to bed earlier. Over the years, I have been to many doctors, taken many tests, crawled over many hurdles. You've been there for me as much as I would let you be. I only told you what you needed to know, nothing more, nothing less. Except now, we can't do that anymore, because my lupus is far beyond the point of hiding it from each other or anyone else. You asked me to describe the pain, and I did. You forced me to acknowledge my limitations without making me feel belittled. You held me the night before my first Cytoxin infusion as I panicked with anxiety over the unknown. You spent 6 hours with me in a room while they pumped poison through my veins. You let me cry. I'm sorry that I've added this extra hurdle for us to continuously jump over. I'm sorry that our anniversary trip will be postponed because of my health. I'm sorry I can't do everything. I'm sorry I'm so expensive and a liability. But thank you on this Valentine's Day for loving me, even though loving me means living with my lupus. I love you. So I just thought that was a really nice letter from her to her husband. And I just really hope that everyone out there has a support system like that, whether it be your husband or a family member or a friend, just someone out there that supports you in that way. And I mean, I definitely am still learning how to cope with lupus and where it fits into my relationship with my husband, and it's not always perfect, but we're getting through it and we're sticking together, and that's the important thing. And you know, I don't know, sometimes I worry about him leaving me, but he's always reassured me that that will never happen. So yeah, so I'm just very grateful for my husband. And yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. And I will put a link in the description below to the letter on a blog. If you want to share it with anyone or you want to revisit it, you can do that. I will put the link in the description below. And also, don't forget to check out the other links in the description for my fundraising efforts. I did a little check-in last night. We got a couple of sponsors. And so far our team has raised, I believe, if I remember correctly, a little bit of lupus fog going on. We have raised $240 so far, and that is between the sales of the bracelets, the awareness bracelets, and sponsors for our walk. So our goal is $1,000, so we still have a ways to go. So I really would appreciate it if you would like to sponsor us on our walk or buy an awareness bracelet. All the links to everything, all the information you need, it's all in the description below. And just know that no amount is too small. You can donate any amount you want. And the sponsor page for the walk is set up through Lupus Ontario, and it is a secure web page, and the money goes directly to Lupus Ontario. So, and Lupus Ontario, it's not just money for research. I mean, that's the main thing, because obviously the more research we get, the better treatments we get, and hopefully a cure. But they also provide wonderful programs for patients and their families to help them cope with the illness. They do the support groups, and they do lots of events throughout the year to raise money. And they're always there for you if you need any information or help or whatever. If you're newly diagnosed, when I was newly diagnosed and I contacted the Lupus Foundation, oh my gosh, they sent me tons of information. They sent me a whole bunch of brochures that I could share with my family members to educate them on my, diagnosis. And they sent me the Living Well with Lupus facts book, and they sent me a couple of copies of those for free. And usually, you have to buy those, but they sent me a few copies for free so that I could pass them around to family members. And they even said that, if my husband and I wanted some one-on-one counseling in our home, they could, provide that for us. It was just wonderful. I mean, they just have lots of great services for patients. So it's definitely an important thing. So anyways, guys, I'm going to end this video here. And thank you so much for all of your comments and your support. And if you know anyone with lupus, don't forget to share with them my channel and all the videos I've been making this month, because not only are the videos, educating the public on lupus, but there's also a lot of great information for lupus patients themselves and more to come. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.